Hello everyone, welcome to Longarming by Jaclyn. We have got a little Witches on Wednesday video today. Reminder, we are live for pattern sales. I'll put a link down below to our new online pattern shop. You gotta start somewhere. It's one pattern, but we're getting there. So today I am doing, normally I would do a memory quilt, but in this case we're doing memory pillows, and I need to give credit to a channel called Whitney Sews because the basis of this idea came from her, and actually the person I'm making these for sent me an image and it was from that same blog post, and then I found the YouTube video that goes with it, and I based this off of how she did hers. So it's not finished yet, but let's see if I can get it in shape. It's going to look like this. So it's going to be a nice big 20-inch cuddle pillow, and this gentleman was a jeans wearer. He was a big Levi's man. So we've got the Levi's tag right there. And so when the Whitney Sews video, which I will put a link to below, when she did hers, she was using, I believe, vintage denim that she purchased for the purpose of making quilts at a thrift store or whatever. So she got the big jeans, which if you're trying to harvest fabric, you go for big jeans. But this gentleman was your typical Midwestern farmer, slender, hardworking, moderate, no nonsense fella. So he was a slim guy. So I had to modify here because the waist of the jeans wasn't as wide as the pillow that I was trying to make. And then I also have a little bit more fabric. She was using making one pillow from the remnants after making a quilt, and I've got several pairs of jeans, so I used both legs, top and bottom, to make a little bit larger pillow. And then I also added this contrast accent. So you've got two stripes of the contrast fabric that'll be on the left and right, and then the denim sort of framed in the middle. And then I really liked, she had this idea of trimming close to these seams that you see on jeans are called flat felled seams. And she just trimmed close to that and used that as a finished edge, which I thought was genius. And then inside, I used the overlocker of my sewing machine and I finished everything inside. So this is a pillow sham, and so it's a cover that you can take off of the pillow insert that goes inside, so that this can be washed pretty easily without having to wash the whole pillow, because that usually makes the stuffing lumpy. It might throw your washing machine off balance. It might not dry properly. So I prefer a removable cover. So all of the seams on the inside, I finished at least with my overlocker stitch on my sewing machine. I use a Juki NX7, I really like it. And then after I get the embroidery done on the back of the pillow, I am going to do a French seam on the sides so that this main seam as well will be finished on the inside. That means when you take the cover off and wash it, you won't have a bunch of fray, you won't have the case falling apart. It's going to stay nice and neat and together the way it was when you sewed it. So if you don't do seam finishing, your finished product will look great at first. And same thing with the garment, it looks nice from the outside at first, but as you start using, wearing, washing, the seam finishing is going to really become noticeable. So if you haven't enclosed all the raw edges on the inside of the garment or pillow in this case, those threads start going and it starts sort of eroding the seams away. Typically in a quilt, you're enclosing those seams when you do the quilting and ultimately the binding and that's going to stabilize all those threads down, and that's why a quilt is going to be durable, and we don't individually finish each seam on the back of a quilt. Can you imagine? So anyways, I will be making more of those. I've got 2 finished. I've got a stack of them yet to go. I think they're coming out really cute. I used this brown linen. I'd actually purchased this for another project, and I decided not to do it. And I thought it was perfect for this. These are going to a variety of people that were in his life. And I think it's very versatile. It'll go with any number of decors. It's not too feminine or masculine, so that everybody can have a matching snuggle pillow after their grandfather, and it will work for everybody. So that is what I'm sewing Wednesday. I'm really interested to know what you are sewing Wednesday. So use the hashtag LongarmingByJaclyn, what you sew on Wednesday, and post what's on your sewing table. Even if it's a dream project and you haven't started and it's just this thought that you have, I'm really interested to know what you're sewing or what you're thinking about sewing. That counts too. That's the planning and design process. Doesn't mean you're not sewing. You sew up here before you sew anywhere else. So show me what's on your sewing table or in your sewing idea bubble. Hashtag LongarmingByJaclyn or what you sew on Wednesday, and I really would like to know. I hope you enjoyed our short little video today, and have a great week. Have a good time. Bye!
For those of you that are interested in a few tips on how I have been making these jeans pillows, the first thing that I did was line up the center seam of my front and back pocket panel to be perpendicular with the center seam of my little harvested leg segment. Then, just as the Whitney Sews tutorial said, I sewed 2 lines of stitching where the waistband meets the leg panel. Then for the bottom panel, I do the same thing. Make sure that the center seam of my pocket panel is perpendicular to the center seam of my bottom leg panel, and I lay those both face up and cut a common straight line across, which allows them to mesh smoothly and line up nice and perpendicular. I'm using that center seam of the pocket panel as my straight indicator because there's a lot of curved seams on jeans, so you have to have something to give you a nice straight reference. Then I used my ruler and I found the widest width that I could cut the denim panel to and made nice straight perpendicular cuts so that they line up nice and square with the center seam again, my same reference. And I added my 2 linen framing sections. As I go, I'm finishing all the seams with the overlocker stitch, or in some cases I took a narrow hem. After I send these off for the custom embroidery, I'll be finishing the whole thing envelope style using some French seams.
Okay, good.